start screen of our first prototype, we have a simple drawn up map as well as a few icons to represent system status and our current location, the time, and a find location button. It's important to note that from this screen, the actual functionality is very similar, as we found it was a very simple interface and easy to use with multiple things that we can do. However, for this user story, it is tailored towards finding a place to eat and adding friends as well, so we can find a place to eat and add friends. However, just to simply break down this screen, we have a home button now, and a back button, as well as a few locations that we can visit with the distance between it. So we can add friends simply by going to this little icon here, and then going and adding another one, and we can ignore the keyboard for now because we have recommended friends that we just wanted to add quickly. And here are the locations where they update towards the distance that is closest between all three of the friends. And this is the final screen. And it's important to notice here that there is a lot of clutter of information and it's kind of hard to get the core details out of what you want to actually achieve. Once again, we have the same startup screen, except this prototype is tailored towards the specific user story of finding an attraction. So we can click the place icon and find an attraction. Once again, this is another screen that will focus on improving, especially the rating system, where we believe it's not visible enough here and we can actually improve on that. So we can find an attraction that has the best rating. However, we can also improve the radius so that we can see different locations from a further radius, and fair actually happens to be further away but also at the top of the list. So we can click fair, and that can also be our destination where we get to the same end screen, which is also a cluttered mess. From the start screen of the second prototype, we can already see there has been an improvement to the interface. We have time, but we also have weather now, and we also have a soundtrack playing. We still have the icons to show the status of the system, and we can also still change the map size and our current location. So we can begin, and again, this one is tailored specifically for finding a place to eat, so we can click food. And once again, as I said before, we can still see that the functionality of this area has still remained the same, because it is quite easy to navigate. So we'll find a restaurant, and this screen is also quite similar. We can add a friend in the similar way as we have always done. And now we have a group distance column, just to show that the distance between you is different to the distance between all three of us. So now we can click Thai restaurant, and the final screen is very similar to the start screen, and we also have a little red line to show our direction. Once again, we have the same start screen for the prototype 2, except that this prototype is tailored towards the find an attraction user story. Now we have a map instead of a drawn map, which is mostly the only difference for this screen, and we have color-coded placement tags to represent the attraction that is listed in each of the boxes. We can increase the radius as we always have, and widen our search variety to find better searches with a higher rating. So we can go to local fair and end up at the same end screen. For the final prototype, we can move on to where the changes have been made for our find a place to eat user story. So we find a restaurant as usual, add a friend as usual. Now this is the new interface that has been designed to try and find friends more efficiently. We have a scrolling list so that we can find an alphabetical list of all of the friends. However, we also have recent contacts, so we can add Mary from a recent contact. But just to show the functionality, Andrew is a recent contact, but we can add address just to specify the exact contact that we want. And to show a demonstration, we have started to type in a little bit of Andrew's actual address, and a suggested address has come up for him. We can select that and it will add it in the exact same way. Then we can move on and finish the user story just as we always have. In the final prototype again, we notice that this screen is the same, and for this user story we're focusing on finding an attraction. And the big difference here is that we've completely eliminated the map, as we thought that it caused too much confusion, and now we simply have the destination time, rating, and now we have a weather for each one. So we feel that would improve the user's decision. And now we can also change the distance from 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers radius. Click which one we want, and there we go. From the start screen, Sandra will first see the map as the central component of the screen. She will click begin to start her route. Sandra is now provided with more options to categorize what she wants to do. In this scenario, Sandra wants to find a place to eat, so she clicks food. Then she clicks find a restaurant. This screen outlines some of the closest restaurants to Sandra and their ratings. Sandra is interested in having a night out with her friends, so she'll click add friend. The friends list screen displays all the previously saved contacts, which are accessible via the slider on the right, and also includes a recent contacts section above. Sandra decides to press Mary from recent contacts. Sandra wants to add someone else, so she clicks add friend again. This time, Sandra wants to add someone by manually inputting the address, so she will click add address. After inputting the first few characters of Andrew's address, Andrew pops up as a suggested address. Sandra clicks Andrew from the drop-down box. Sandra can now observe the closest restaurant between herself and her two friends via the group distance column. She clicks Thai restaurant as it is the closest between herself and her friends. Sandra now arrives at her destination screen with an estimated time and a red line to indicate the route being taken.